Royal guards are known for staying calm and composed, no matter what goes down around them. But sometimes, people push their luck, and that's when things can get interesting. Here are times when royal guards fight back. Don't harass the royal guards. This guy was following a royal guard around, super closely without a care in the world. His friends recording him clearly knew something was about to happen. Well, as he was walking around with the guard, he decided to put his hand on his shoulder. Bad move. The guard instantly pushes him away, shouts really loudly, and even points his gun at him. Safe to say that teenager probably peed his pants and ran away real quick. Attacking the royal guard. In July 2023, a guy got into a scuffle with the king's guard at the royal castle in Oslo and ended up getting detained. The whole thing caused quite a stir, as you'd expect when someone picks a fight with royal guards. It's definitely not the kind of tourist moment you want to have. Crazy Karen. It's normal for people to be interested in the royal guards and their horses, but this woman didn't know when to stop. She kept on touching the horse over and over again when it was clearly getting agitated. The guard even tried to move away from the lady, but she kept on touching it. She stood right next to it for over 10 minutes. Things got bad enough that the police had to get involved and tell the lady to move away from the horse. Rude tourist. The royal guard's horse was already super agitated, so much so that another guard had to step in to calm it down. But instead of giving the poor horse some space, these tourists made things worse by crowding around and touching it for way too long. It's like they didn't realize they were stressing the animal out even more. Sometimes, people just need to know when to back off and let the guards do their job. Number 5. Female guard. Seeing a female royal guard is pretty rare since it's usually the usual male ones. Naturally, the tourists couldn't resist trying to get a closer look, but this guard wasn't about to let them mess with her patrol. When they kept crowding around and getting in her way, she didn't hold back. She shouted at them to back off. It's not every day you see someone handle a crowd like that with such authority. Trampled. During the 2022 Jubilee Parade, a group of protesters caused a stir by storming onto the mall. They moved quickly, sitting down almost instantly to block the path, but the police weren't having it. Officers acted fast, dragging them away to clear the area just in time for the marching band to continue. A guard's voice. This royal guard was doing his regular patrol and checking out if everything was set in place or not, when all of a sudden, a tourist was in his way, taking pictures of the surroundings. Not derailing off his path, he yelled pretty loudly at the tourist to make way for him. The poor guy was pretty spooked and ran off when he yelled. Slapping the royal horse. All these tourists were lined up, taking turns getting their picture with the royal guard and his horse. Everything was going smoothly until this woman showed up. The horse was already a bit agitated, moving around, and for some reason, she decided to slap its face. The horse flinched, but she just laughed it off like it was some kind of joke. Not stopping there, she did it 2 more times. That's when the royal guard had enough. He yelled at her to back off, making it clear that this was not okay. Honestly, it's kind of crazy how some people don't know when to respect boundaries. Disrespecting the guards. A king's guard was taking a calm stroll from Buckingham Palace to St. James's Palace through Green Park, just minding his own business. But things took a turn when a group of teenagers got a bit too close. clearly not respecting his space. To avoid the crowd, the guard switched up his usual route and took an unexpected detour through a back gate behind St. James's Palace. It was a pretty unusual move, but it shows just how important it is to give these guards their space. Don't get too close. This horse seemed like it was pretty tired from standing around and having people take its photos all day. Whenever a tourist stood near it, it would bite just about anyone. While not strong enough to actually cause too much damage, it is enough to hurt. With most people, it was just a small bite, but this one guy got a little too up close and personal. The horse bit his arm and even dragged it towards him. The guard had to pull the horse back after that, but it just shows that you should never get too close. Dragged away. This royal guard's horse bites and drags a tourist to the ground. It's a shocking sight, but it's a reminder that these horses aren't to be messed with. Horse Guards Parade is a popular spot to see the King's Guard on horseback, but getting too close or disturbing them can have serious consequences. The King's Guard and their horses are not there for tourists to mess around with, and this incident proves just how quickly things can go south. Respect the guards and their space. These horses aren't afraid to defend themselves. Passed out. Instead of approaching the horse slowly like most people do, this woman just jumped right next to it out of nowhere. The horse was already anxious from all the people around, and her sudden move definitely didn't help. Naturally, the horse bit her really hard, and she screamed loud enough for everyone to hear. She quickly ran away, probably in shock, but things didn't end there. A little while later, she actually passed out from the whole ordeal. It's a crazy reminder to respect animals, especially the ones on duty like that. They're not there for a photo op, and sudden moves can really set them off. Marmite. At Horse Guards Parade, a guy thought it'd be funny to offer the Royal Guard's horse some Marmite. It's definitely not the kind of snack that should be going into a horse's stomach, and the police officer didn't waste any time telling him off. She quickly reminded him that it's not his horse to feed, especially with something like Marmite that could mess with the horse's health. Horse freaks out. In 2024, something unexpected happens when the Royal Guard's horse suddenly abandons its box. The horse starts freaking out, causing a bit of chaos. It's not the usual calm and collected scene you'd expect. Another guard quickly steps in to try and calm the horse down and get it under control. If the horse gets stressed, it takes some serious handling to keep everything running smoothly. Messing with the guards. You really shouldn't get in the way of a royal guard, because when you do, things get intense. These guys don't mess around. If you're blocking their path, they'll start yelling at you to get out of the way. And trust me, their shouts are loud and super scary. Most people freak out and run as soon as they hear it. It's not the kind of thing you want to experience up close. The guards are there to do a job, and they take it seriously. So, if you ever find yourself near one, just remember to keep your distance and let them do their thing. Bumping tourist out the way. While patrolling around Buckingham Palace, everything seemed to be going smoothly for the Royal Guard. But as he was leaving, a tourist was standing right in his way. One thing you should know about Royal Guards is they don't stop for anyone. The guard spotted the guy, yelled at him to get out of the way, and then just kept walking, literally shoving him aside. The tourist was pretty shocked and taken aback by the whole thing. It's a clear reminder that these guards are on duty and they take it seriously. Don't get in their way, or you might just get moved out of it. Annoying the wrong guard. This guy was messing around with the horse and the royal guard, getting too close and annoying the horse. Eventually, the troop had to pull the horse away from him to calm things down. The police showed up and started telling the guy to stop, but he barely paid attention, staying glued to his phone. The worst part? This troop was actually one of the nicer, more patient ones. So for him to get ticked off meant the guy must have really pushed his buttons. It's a good reminder that the guards and their horses deserve respect. Poking fun at them can quickly go too far. Laughing in the wrong place. Royal guards are famous for keeping their cool and staying totally emotionless. No talking, no smiling. But during one inspection, two of the troops just couldn't keep it together. You could tell they were doing everything they could to avoid bursting out laughing, even turning bright red in the face. At one point, they clearly started joking around with each other, which just made things even worse. It was a rare sight, since they usually have their serious, no-nonsense demeanor, but sometimes the pressure of staying stone-faced just gets to be too much, and a little humor sneaks through. Annoying tourist. During the changing of the guard, tourists were everywhere, blocking the way and moving way too slow. The horses were just waiting to move, but no one was clearing the path quickly enough. Things started to get tense as the guards and tourists began arguing. Clearly, the whole situation was getting out of hand. Eventually, the police had to step in to sort it all out. It's always a bit chaotic during these events, but when tourists don't pay attention, it can cause a real mess. Everyone's there to see the action, but respecting the guard's space is key to keeping things running smoothly. Never mess with this guard. In this video, Prince William leaves the BA's headquarters in central London, and it's pretty intense. His royal car pulls up. And it's not just any car, it's a bulletproof Range Rover, complete with a special security detail. You can spot the armed officers and undercover security all around, making sure everything's in check. As the scene unfolds, more support units arrive, with more Range Rovers and motorcyclists in tow. Kicked out. In this clip, Gideon sets out to make a royal guard smile, claiming he's come to do the impossible. He warns the guard that he will smile and grin, and before long, the guard cracks a smile.
You failed already, man. Come on, I traveled all this way, 5,000 miles, and you're already grinning. What's your name, mate? With a little heat check, see if I can get you to talk.
Off the fence. A group of kids started touching the fence, which was clearly annoying the royal guard. At first, he didn't say anything, but after a while, he couldn't take it anymore.
Get off the fence!
He marched over to them and yelled at them to get off the fence. The kids were pretty startled by his sudden outburst and quickly ran off, clearly scared. It's a good reminder that these guards aren't there for people to mess around with, and they'll call you out if you get too close or act up. Disrespectful tourist. A group of tourists was watching a royal guard from a distance, with a rope keeping them separated. At first, everything was calm. People were just snapping photos from afar. But things took a turn when a woman started holding onto the rope, which isn't allowed. The royal guard noticed and immediately yelled at her to stop, which startled her and made her let go of the rope.
Get off the road!
The whole situation quickly got tense, but it was a reminder that these guards take their boundaries seriously. Getting arrested. A rude, mouthy guy started calling the king's guard a sausage and got pretty confrontational.
Shouting. Go on. What else is he? Yeah, stop being so goddamn rude.
He didn't stop there. He actually tried to fight the guard, which definitely didn't end well for him. The situation escalated quickly, and before long, the police stepped in and handcuffed him. It's a pretty crazy scene, but it shows that messing with the king's guard doesn't end well. They're there to do their job, and clearly disrespecting them can get you into serious trouble. The guy learned the hard way that a tough attitude won't get you far with the guards or the law.
He was being really rude to her. Oh, look at that, arrested. He called her, he said that, he went to her, "You're a sausage." He was trying to interview her.
Pulling on the chain. A tourist thought it'd be funny to pull on the chain of the king's guard, clearly not respecting the boundaries. He probably thought it was a harmless joke, but the guard wasn't having it.
Whoa.
Stand back for the king's life!
The police quickly showed up to deal with the situation, making it clear that messing with the guards isn't something to take lightly. Mouthy teenagers. 3 mouthy teenage tourists were causing trouble near the king's guard, and things quickly escalated when the guard charged his horse at them. Clearly, the guard wasn't going to tolerate their disrespect.
Oh.
Says watch, my horse may kick, so we're moving.
Guard's boot. A mouthy, disrespectful brat got a real wake-up call from the king's guard. After the troop pushed him away for getting too close, the kid rudely muttered something under his breath at him. Clearly, the guard wasn't having any of it, and this wasn't the time or place for attitude. Daddy's princess. A dad wasn't happy when the king's guard told his daughter to step back, even though it was for her own safety. The horse was getting agitated, and the guard was just trying to keep everyone safe. The dad got mouthy about it, but honestly, it was pretty dumb. There's a reason the guard gave the warning. Sometimes people forget that the guards and their horses aren't there for fun. They're on duty.
Those two. He was trying to stop you from getting hurt with a knob.
Horse slip. It's not common for horses to slip, but when it happens, it definitely catches everyone off guard. That's exactly what happened when a king's guard horse slipped and fell, but surprisingly, the guard stayed mounted the whole time.
He managed to stay on that horse.
Making the royal guard laugh. A tourist managed to make a royal guard at Buckingham Palace break character and burst out laughing. The tourist, Yankel, jokingly reminisced about their school days together at Kensington.
A little closer.
We were together in school, me and him. He went his own way. So I'm standing here.
Okay.
I've been only here for a couple minutes.
So how long do you know this man?
30 years.
30 years you've been together and you've been to school where?
School? Kensington.
Making fun of how the guard was always quiet and serious. The camera guy egged Yankel on, asking him to dance for the camera, which just added to the fun. Despite the royal guard's usual serious demeanor, the whole scene had everyone laughing.
You were asking questions, you answer with his head. Yeah, no, What's your name? No. What? Is that a name? Shake of a head is not a name. Please say your name. And by recess, you're just this guy hanging out. His mother always picked him up from school. He's that type of guy until he was 20. His mother picked him up from school.
Mess around and find out. This guy got a bit too close to the royal guard's horse, making it uncomfortable and a little shifty. The guard quickly noticed and wasn't having any of it. He made it very clear that the king's guard and their horses are not to be messed with. Disgusted guard. A man stood way too close to the royal guard's horse, right in front of it. The horse started getting anxious and jumpy, clearly uncomfortable with the guy being that close. The royal guard had had enough of the disrespect and quickly yelled at the man to get away.
Stand clear of the guard!
The whole situation was pretty tense, but it was a reminder that royal guards and their horses are not to be messed with. They take their duties seriously, and getting too close to the horses can cause them to react in ways that aren't safe for anyone. Hitting the royal guard. She got pretty annoyed when the royal guard yelled at her for being in his way. And to everyone's surprise, she literally hit the trooper. He didn't say anything after that, probably because he had to stick to his patrol. But it didn't end there. Soon enough, the police showed up to confront her for being abusive towards the king's guard. It was a pretty crazy moment.
Oi, did you see a guard?
Did you see that? Is that alright with you lot? Yeah?
He asked you to move.
I've got a broken arm and I moved.
Yeah, you didn't. You stayed there. He asked you to move and you didn't do it.
2 seconds. I've got a broken arm. I said I don't want it. I had a date in Arsenal, by the way. Nick just said no.
Karen Part 2.
Smiling guard. These two girls somehow managed to get a royal guard to smile, which is pretty rare. But it seemed like this guard was one of the nicer ones. In an unexpected turn, he even let them kiss him on the cheek, which was definitely a surprise.
Oh my god, you must hate Americans. You gotta speak up, Bria. I hate Americans for you. I'm really sorry.
Normally, royal guards stay completely stoic and don't engage like that. So it was kind of a wild moment. Let's just hope he didn't get into trouble for breaking character.
Maybe we can see this. All right. Yeah.
This has to be really entertaining for him, I hope.
Hopefully.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh my god, I can't believe you did it. You're awesome.
She's on the cheek right?
Okay. I can't believe he's real.
Cheers to you all.
No messing around. A tourist decided to touch the plume on the back of the king's guard's head, and that was enough for him to walk off. Normally, the guards stay still and let people take photos, but this was his way of showing that they can't just touch them however they want. The woman seemed totally clueless about what she'd done, and her face was priceless as she stood there, confused and a bit ignorant of the rules. The guards are still doing their job and need to be respected. Taking pictures is one thing, but touching them is crossing the line. Royal Guard as police officer. Royal Guards and police officers usually work together to keep Buckingham Palace safe, but this time, a cop happened to be in the way of a troop. The Royal Guard, not missing a beat, yelled at him to get out of the way. The cop didn't seem surprised at all. He just casually moved aside like it was something that happened every day. It's funny how these guards don't tolerate anyone getting in their way, even if it's a fellow officer. Royal Guard sword. Royal Guards usually carry swords, but they're rarely ever used. While tourists were busy snapping photos, this particular guard kept his sword at the ready, though no one really expected him to use it. However, when a tourist got a little too close and started messing with the reins, the guard quickly aimed his sword in his direction and yelled at him to back off.
Cut the reins!
It was a clear reminder that these guards are serious about their duties, and getting too close or disrespecting them isn't something they'll just let slide. The sword might stay sheathed most of the time, but they're always prepared to defend their space. Spooked horse. Horses are known to get spooked easily, and this one definitely startled everyone around it. It was probably reacting to something in the crowd, and before anyone knew it, the horse was causing a bit of chaos. People around quickly backed off, not wanting to get too close. What was your favorite footage? Comment down below and let me know. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time. Goodbye.